Critical thinking is huge, right? How do you get from point A to point B using the tools that are around you? There's a lot of fear out there with AI and technology. And is my job safe? Is my future secure? There's a lot we don't know. But what we do know is this is an opportunity to tap into our human superpower.
AI has made me more urgent about my creative work. It's almost like I have an urgency to be like, I gotta get it out there before it gets too noisy with the deep fakes, I guess.
As much as you want to control, you're going to have to let some control go. You're replaceable every single day you go to work. And so if you understand you're replaceable, even before AI came into the world, you have to just show up the best you can be, plan for the worst, hope for the best, but just deliver every single day. And your job is going to be there. And if it's not there and you are laid off, look at the opportunities of where you can go next. Even education is changing so rapidly right in front of our faces. How my kids are learning will be different than how your kids learn.
What do you think are like some specific jobs that are like maybe at risk? And then, what are some maybe like ways that their skill set might have a new, opportunity in this marketplace?
The first one is...
Hey everybody, welcome to the Seeding Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Darryll Stinson. I'm so excited to have you on here, y'all. I feel like I start every episode off this way. I say a guest that's worth interviewing once is worth interviewing twice. And I believe twice, thrice, 4 times, as many times as you come to Nashville, I'd love to have you on because you are an asset. That's right. Somebody type asset in the chat if you're watching this replay. Man, Stacy is in town, just hosted, by the way, CEO of Plaid Pony Productions, also own a catering company. You're a mother of 2 boys, and you're in Nashville, just ran a Cocktails with Creatives event. And I would love just to, tell you on the front end, I've got a lot to ask you, and we got a little bit of time to get to it. Sure. So thank you for just like impromptu, making space to be a guest on my podcast and allow me to share your wisdom with executives, Fortune 500 companies, all small, medium-sized business owners, creatives. I mean, like, to me, you've been inside the beast and you've been outside the beast, and you're like the bridge between the beast, and it's just a wealth of wisdom. So I want to hit your Cocktails with Creatives event, why you're in Nashville, what's fresh in mind for you. But I also want to talk about all this AI disruption that's happening and how you, with all of your production wisdom and experience with, I don't even want to start to list your clientele and the brands that you worked with. They can just put it on the lower thirds of the screen. But I want to hear, the cream of the crop of that. Like, you're in all these conversations and you hear it from both sides. And I would love to hear from a producer's perspective and also as a speaker on stage, helping other people. So that's a lot to cover in like 30 minutes, but I believe if anybody can do it, it's Stacy Scarsella, baby. So I'll be quiet now and just be like, come on, holla at your boy. Talk to us about Cocktails with Creatives and then take us into some of this AI stuff.
Thank you. I love it. Well, for one, thank you, Darryll. I love talking to you. You always inspire me. So I am in Nashville with Cocktails. Cocktails with Creative is an incredible community event that I started to get people outside of their technology space, right? To connect with other humans, to talk about what's happening in the creative space, but also be inspired because it is an isolating world right now. It's a monologue. You're texting, you're pushing messages out there without receiving it at the same time. And in-person events are so powerful because it's real-time feedback. You're hearing from other like-minded creatives. And it's also a way to, really just help people feel, inspired when there's a lot of fear out there with AI and technology. And is my job safe? Is my future secure? There's a lot we don't know, but what we do know is this is an opportunity to tap into our human superpower. And that is something that I have found a calling for because I have worked with humans my entire career, specifically extremely creative storytellers. And what AI cannot do yet and it will take a while for it to be able to fully take over the human side of storytelling, the stories that only we can create as individuals because of lived experiences. And those unique stories, that's what makes creative directors, creative copywriters, creative people, that's what makes the art so specific to whatever their story is. So the storytelling and how that story is created and how it's pushed out in different media channels and the different people that are, ingesting that media, those processes and project management tools and that technology of how the process is done, those jobs will change. But when those jobs change, more jobs are created. And the storytelling is what I like to focus on. And what I've been doing with my speaking career as well is working with creatives or even just people within organizations and having them tap into what makes them human. What is their brand? What's the story they are telling? And even though you're not a traditional storyteller in the sense of the word creative director, you still have a story. And I think that's what's so powerful about this time right now and how I'm using my platform with Plaid Pony, but then also, the stages that I'm on and the people I'm meeting. And I'm inspired. And so it's a web of spark and creative spark that just travels. And every single event I go to, whether it's the ones I'm producing or the ones that I actually, attend, I leave feeling energized. And I think that's the message that I want to push out there is go outside of your office or your, space that you're doing your work and connect. Because that human connection is what's going to get you past that fear and stress, especially with the world and what we're dealing with outside of, even right now, there's a lot of heavy stuff out there. But if you connect with someone, it just kind of makes everything push away for at least right now.
Totally. Man, you said something about I feel like my friend Rick, the wealth coach, if he was watching it, he said, "Dear, you know what time it is? It's time for the percolator." Oh, it's time for the percolator. Oh, because you said the human side of storytelling, and it sent chills up my spine. And I said, don't talk good to me now. And then you also said extremely creative storytellers. I said, who you think you're talking to? I'm an extremely creative storyteller.
You are.
So without turning this into a personal coaching section, which I would love to do, one of the things you mentioned was these specific jobs that AI is replacing. And these are jobs that will emerge. I've heard that, and I think everyone will go, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. And I've heard it even like, AI is during the age of AI, there's going to be the most millionaires and billionaires that are made and all this other stuff. So I believe it all. I just want to know, like, again, not expecting you to be in a human database, but like for you, like even top of mind, what do you think are like some specific jobs that are like maybe at risk? And then, what are some maybe like ways that their skill set might have a new, opportunity in this marketplace?
Great question. The first one is systems, right? So if you're a project management, any type of system-based job that can be sped up by a system itself.
Can you give me an example?
So production coordinators are people that take information and put it into databases, whether it's call sheets or payroll systems, and I'm specifically talking about advertising, right, on set. And so you have production coordinators, production managers, production supervisors. There's a lot of producer type roles. Now, are all producer roles going to be eliminated? Absolutely not, because you have to have a human talking to a human in order to take that information and put it into a database. But, coordinators that manage travel, coordinators that manage taking logistical, whether it's trucking details, you name it. It's faster with the systems. And I've been playing with this for 2 years. As a business owner, it's important to understand the technology that's coming into your space.
I know.
So have I eliminated those positions? Absolutely not. I've moved those positions into more human connected spaces. So they're the ones connecting with the crews, managing emails. So they have a bigger voice than they've had in the past, but I've just moved their roles and shifted it around. So are there less people needed? Yes. But there are new positions that are starting to open up because I need different people on set than I had before. And so it's just constantly looking at, okay, and that's from a production standpoint. Now let's talk about the creative space. If you're a photographer, I think a lot of photographers are very worried right now. And I don't think they should be worried, but they should be aware that some of the work that they have been doing can be created faster with an AI program. And even people that are
we talking editing work though? Because I personally don't agree with the capturing side of that. Like you can generate it, but I can still tell.
Yes, I think it's not there yet, but it's something that it's going to only improve, right? And so what photographers need to understand is there is a space for them in the creative space still, but they're going to be using a different type of lens. So they're not necessarily going to be holding a camera. They might be in front of a screen working with the AI program in order to direct that AI. So instead of pushing a button, turning a lighting capture modes, like, how
that's even better.
The shutter speed.
That's even better. So you can control it autonomously and then just have human, so we could remove everything and get you like a new headshot, just staring at each other eye to eye without like the camera barrier. Deal.
It's fascinating how
I still like the of it,
I know,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and there is still going to be that. I mean, I've been doing a lot of projects where the mood boards and the swipe and everything that's coming to me from the creatives is AI generated. And it's my job to look at it and say, well, that's physically not possible because that lighting doesn't actually, that's why it looks fake, right? Because it's not right. The sun is over here and the light's hitting her face on the left versus the right. And that's the eye of the creative. So the photographer's job is going to just change and the title will change, and look at it like back when film was replaced with digital, right? You had a first assistant, and I'm speaking very specifically to advertising and shooting.
That's good.
You had a first assistant working with a photographer to process the film and push and pull the light. That photographer's role shifted into digital techs, and an entire industry emerged. And those digital techs made twice as much money, if not more. Now they're charging for their digital station and their time and their expertise, and they don't have to lug around these huge bags of film and stress about backup film, because now you have backup, you have hard drives, you have all of these options. So it's really exciting to look at the opportunities, but it's scary because the job that you're doing right now is not the job of the future. And if people can see that optimistic approach, it really opens up the, what I say all the time, I get to do this versus I have to, right? I get to go to work and explore how my job is going to grow and change. And it's a mindset.
It is. I love that you gave specicics, because I've been
I know
waiting
it's
for
so
that.
specific.
No,
Should I make it
that's what I
broader?
wanted. That's exactly what I wanted, because everyone says that new jobs are, it's replacing thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs, but no worries, there'll be new jobs emerging.
But what are those new jobs?
And a lot of the people go, but not my job, doing my thing that my skill set requires, for these new jobs, so I'm gonna have to learn some other stuff that I really don't want to do, or go somewhere I don't want to go, or go some state that's not even where my people are, just to survive and find a good paying job that'll pay me what I'm worth and won't treat me like, but to just be like, okay, no, there's some specific jobs. Here are some examples, and I'm sure you could probably go on and on and on
in
about
every
more.
single role. But it's important to understand that you have to be open.
Yeah, you do.
Right? Because your title is going to change.
Yeah,
but your skill set will be applied into a new position.
That's the word. So what about the corporate side of that, right? So on their side, they're looking like, what are they saying? I don't want to project.
Well, and I think it's a really interesting time for a lot of businesses, right? And because corporations manage tons of people, they have a very difficult path ahead of them in the near future. It's going to get a little messy before it gets better because we are in an evolution, right? Anytime you have a massive shift in any organization, industry, I don't know, economy, there's going to be some scary stuff happen, right? Because humans have opinions, good or bad. And so we will see, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I am a visionary, but I can't see the future, right? So I don't necessarily know, but I have seen trends where businesses are taking, especially production or logistics, they're creating centralized forces, right? So they're using AI as a way to scale and source and move. And then the people are all in one space. So getting the people together in one space, bringing them into the office again, making them, really connect in person, and then using technology to help scale and push out over whatever they're doing, whether it be trucking or manufacturing. And I think, we could talk about all of the different industries. There's so much. And because I do advertising with all different types of, business, from beauty to, technology, telecommunications, fashion, every industry is changing in a different space and different pace. And I think that's what makes this so confusing for a lot of people.
Right.
Because there is no magic wand that's going to say you're safe. Well, what does safe mean? You're replaceable every single day you go to work. And so if you understand you're replaceable, even before AI came into the world, you have to just show up the best you can be, plan for the worst, hope for the best, but just deliver every single day. And your job is going to be there. And if it's not there and you are laid off, look at the opportunities of where you can go next. The traditional job searching, all of the ways that we have been doing things for the last 30 years, we have to put our thinking cap on,
Right.
and know that it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's just not. And that's the fact. What are the facts? The facts are, even education is changing so rapidly right in front of our faces. How my kids are learning will be different than how your kids learn.
Totally.
And even in just 2 years, what skill sets are they teaching? How are they learning? How are they ingesting information? It's fascinating.
Is there something that in your own creative prowess that, I don't know, how I can only answer it personally. Like for me, AI has made me more urgent about my creative work. It's almost like I have an urgency to be like, I got to get it out there before it gets too noisy with the deep fakes, I guess. And then I also am like, I have to learn how to say it and express it and articulate it and draw it and produce it the right way so that as AI just goes, it will protect the integrity of my voice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for you, do you have something that you're like worried about like that, or like you want to protect its innocence?
Yes, I do think that's something. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you can only control so much, right? And I think what's really hard for people to grasp right now is, as much as you want to control, you're going to have to let some control go.
Yeah.
And you're doing it, right? You're doing it already by just your human connection. And I think that's what's really cool about, I mean, even my creative process, right? What do I have that the person next to me doesn't? We're all saying our stories, right? Some stories are exactly the same, but what makes them different is the person that's delivering the story.
Yes.
And that AI robot, whatever it is, your avatar that's created by, your enemy, and they're trying to copy you or whatever they're trying to do, if your story is strong enough and authentic enough, your audience will be able to say, oh, that's AI. And I go straight to the comments on every single post or story or video I read now, because I kind of know, but I just want to see. Like,
I know.
Let's
Who
head
hit
to
the
the
AI
comments.
button? Who hit the AI button? All of them.
Just to really tap into what makes something authentic.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is confusing and there is noise. And that is why the in-person events are so, that's the power of the future. And brands really understanding where brands can be powerful is bring their space, have gifting suites at every event, get real life testimonials, right? Because the influencer movement is going to change because we don't know what's AI and what's not AI. Is that product even real? Is it 3D or is it animated? You know, you click buy and you receive a, you know, something that you thought was 3-dimensional and now it's 2D. And you're like, whoops, that was a final sale.
Oh yeah, they got me. They got me with one of those pans on those infomercials. It was like they were like doing that with the eggs, and the boys was slipping all out fast. And I was like, oh, and then they said if you buy an extra one, you get like 4. I'm like 4 pans. They said 4. All 4 of them were done in a week. Yep. You know, it's like I was so angry and upset. But why did I believe that I would get 4 pans that were better than the original pan I had, but cheaper? Like, it was like I'm the one who bought the bait.
It's science. There's so much science behind the mentality of buying, right? Yeah. And there are some very intelligent humans directing all of this. And so if we just can take a deep breath and know, okay, I don't have control, but what do you have control over? What you watch, what you ingest, where you spend your money.
Yes.
And that's just where you have to tap into your humanity, right? Because the intelligence piece, I mean, how do you compete with a robot that's way smarter than you?
Yeah.
By looking at, okay, well, what makes me me? Your soul, your spirituality, whatever you believe that makes you feel real.
Yes.
So.
I hate to pace us like this because I want to spend 90 minutes. But you got to come back to Nashville. I make her promise on camera. You come back to Nashville.
I have some plans. I met some cool people. We're working on some
We're
things.
gonna get her to come back to Nashville, y'all. She's like, if y'all pay me, I'll come back to Nashville. Here we go. Somebody pay her to come back to Nashville. There's my plug. Okay, one of these companies I've spoken for. Our human superpower. You said I think you called it your calling earlier, and what your expression was, like you feel called to, I guess. Human superpower, what does that mean for you? And then, like, is there a pragmatic way you're going about cultivating that in the work that you do every day?
Everyone has a spark, right? Everyone has something that makes them different. And as I have spoken at events and led workshops and had mentorship programs, my internship programs, all of these initiatives that I have put into place over the last 2 decades of my career, there is magic in each and every one of us, but it takes a little bit to pull that out. And I feel like I have something in me that helps people see the value in themselves. And it's been really incredible over the last few years as I've taken, speaking more seriously, that people do want to find what makes them tick. And they come to my events or they are a part of my workshops, and then they walk away and they say, thank you, Stacy. And that gratitude is what's giving me kind of that my own spark to help them find their magic. And it comes with the firework between your skill set and your passion. So there's science behind it. It's not just like a woo. I mean, it is a little, but it is also, what are you naturally good at? And I start with breaking into columns, A, B, C, D. What are you awesome at? What are you better at? What are you really can't do that? What do you really don't like? And you put those, you write those skill sets down into the columns, and then you look at what you enjoy doing. And then the combination of that, where that intersection of skill set and passion, where the intersection meets, that's your superpower. And then there's more to it from there, but you can start with that, right? Are you the person people come to because you're extremely good at making lists and putting things into an Excel sheet, and you enjoy it? You're like, I would live in Excel all day long. People come to you for that. That's a skill. And you like it. Now look at the jobs where you might be doing that type of skill and you won't feel like you're working ever. I work a lot, but I never feel like it's a burden because I do something I enjoy, which is bringing logistics together for people. I love the power of a good plan And that's what I do every single day. So I never feel like I'm really working. I get excited and I go to work and I make some magic. I make, really complicated creative decisions come together in a logistical step-by-step plan. And that's how production is done. How do you take somebody's vision and then pull it into a shot list, into a schedule, and then direct all of the people putting the cameras together and the crews and bringing that to life in a 10-hour day. And that is my superpower, but that doesn't mean that somebody else is, better or worse than that. It's just like, what is your specific superpower? So that's what I do as a day job. But my other thing that I really love doing is helping people find theirs.
I don't think there's not a difference for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the same skill set, because I'm thinking about like one of my clients and friends, Ian Beecraft, is a South by Southwest speaker, does keynote speaker, does a lot of training and development. And I don't know if it's his term, but I first learned it from him because I had to watch like 8 hours of his videos trying to learn what the heck he was talking about. And he talked about a lot about AI disruption, the future of work. And he said this term around like moving from specialist to creative generalist.
Yes.
And so when I hear him talk about the shift of moving from that, of like, hey, I want this specialist versus I want this creative generalist. And then I think about what you're saying around people spark their human superpower, and sort of this, I love that you broke it down to this really pragmatic process of how they could even find that for themselves. And yes, as a creative, that helps you sort of know what makes you tick.
Totally.
But as a company, to understand that, especially across a creative production standpoint, is really helps them to like shuffle the deck a bit differently and play their cards in a way that creates more of a melody of their story and their mission and their message. So I see it as like the same skill set just applied to different people and their context.
Totally. Because I'm not going to be necessarily producing shoots for forever,
Right.
because of everything we just talked about.
Right.
So what will I be producing? It's people. What am I good at? People. Understanding people, understanding what makes them tick,
Right.
and why people sometimes disrupt a schedule.
Yeah.
Do they need to use the restroom? Do they need a glass of water? Where do they put their stuff? Where do they park their car? Like
Right.
all of the little details that going into being human,
Right.
affect your schedule. And so the same thing with running a company or dealing with manufacturing or your logistics, the human nature of it, we're not in the matrix yet, and until we go there, let's work on right now. And there are going to be so many jobs that are needed to deal with the thing that makes the robots go, from data farming to, understanding the factories to building, even if you have, an incredible new robot that can, lift really heavy rocks that now help not have people in harm's way, you still need people to coordinate the thing. And that's what we just need to think about, is what jobs will be created because of the human nature around the AI itself. And
So good. Man, I gotta dip my toe in water. It's just too good not to dip my toe in. I didn't even get to write it fast enough. Complicated, creative, logistic, whatever. Okay. I'm like, I hear that.
Yes.
Speak to that from two angles. Number one, obviously, Plaid Pony Productions.
Sure.
Like as the CEO of that company, if there's executives that are watching this that are like, y'all do what? Y'all say what? Y'all can do what? What's the result of that? I know revenue, say reduce cost, waste, and some of that stuff, but like talk to that. And then I want to hit the speaker side of it too, because I think it's different coming into like a conference or like an association setting. Yeah.
So Plaid Pony is really, the mission of Plaid Pony is your vision, our horsepower. It's the logistics of bringing the vision to life. It's the unsexy side of the story that has to be done. Whether it's insurance, trucking, payroll, general liability, whatever it is that has to be thought through, we have a team of incredibly experienced producers and creatives that make that happen. And so as things are shifting, I work with ad agencies, I work with creative agencies, brand direct, but I also work with small businesses that are startups because they're AR products using AI. And that's a whole nother generation of products that need advertising now, right? So it's really cool to see, the different types of clients that are emerging, but we do tend to do B2B. So we deliver the logistical side of production for these stories. And so some of them in the future may be AI driven, but it's still taking the story and we're the wheelhouse, we're the engine that brings it to delivery. So that process in between concept, whether it's the RFP, the bid, the creative, to delivery of the medium of where that story's going, that process in between is what we are experts of.
So good. So good. And then what about the speaking side? So if they're like, cool, we get it. You got to come in. We need y'all to manage our creative work and all the logistics that it entails. Got you. And then for you as sort of the CEO of that company, the voice who has, experience in not just as CEO and Plat Pony Productions, but also, working inside of corporate and managing all types of projects and creative work, et cetera. Like what problems do you solve from stage? What can they expect to get from you there?
Absolutely. There's kind of two different routes. There is the soft science approach to the world of non-advertising, right? Just corporate workers that I come in and I start to teach them about branding themselves. So I work with individuals who may need a spark, right? They need an uplift, motivational speaking, if you will, with soft science. So what are some practical steps they can do in their personal life in order to level up within their corporate job? They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They love having their security inside their corporation. So I work with these corporations, and they could be engineers, they could be manufacturing. I mean, it's not related to advertising, but I specifically work with that type of person where I give them that kind of map, so to speak, that they can, be energized to go and do even better. So that's one level.
Yeah.
Then the other one is creative, right? Working with in-house creative agencies or working with creative agencies where I come in and help them with the process. And what I've seen, because I work with hundreds of different brands, right? So I have eyes on all different ways of how different companies are approaching, today's challenges. And the workforce of these agencies are young producers, right? They're out of college or they're in their mid-20s. I have 2 decades of experience of, have you thought of this? And this is why you should think of this. And that step-to-step risk mitigation process and putting that into place. So training these producers so they don't have to have me on salary and a very expensive role. I come in once a quarter to train their producers to think like an experienced producer without the heavy lift of the salary. And now they have, 10 producers that they can deploy all over the world, managing projects for all of their various clients. And that is really where I'm more of a thought leader and coaching and helping these producers, to have, real life experience. I've been on thousands and thousands of sets in my life, and there's not many experiences that I haven't had. And so how do you learn from that experience and then share that learning to the next generation? And that's really my favorite thing to do.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Think like an experienced producer? How does one do that?
By looking at the process of the challenge and how to approach the challenge. For example, there are so many things you can't control. I know we talked about control a lot. On set, you have all of these elements that you cannot control, right? From maybe there's, a truck runs into another truck, or your talent is late, or a camera lens is cracked, or you forgot lighting that you need. Whatever the problem is, a producer has to be thinking in their mind 18 different solutions because we don't know which solution we have the money for or the power, the actual human power to make happen, all while keeping a poker face, calm, collected, positive, because your job as a producer, your job is to make everyone feel calm, okay, it's handled. And so thinking like an experienced producer is running all the scenarios in your head while you are completely calm and collected. I got you. And yes, that takes experience, but there are some tricks. There are some actual steps you can take. And I know we don't have time for this. So, have me come in and I'll teach you.
Ow, oh, God, that hurts. Oh, and it's going to work too. That's what you call an open loop. Golly. Wow, she just got me on my own podcast. God, yes, we will have you back. We want to know what the answer is.
But yes, that so experience leads to really amazing, results. But I mean, I was 22 in an office producing 8 shoots a day, and you have to learn, right? There are steps, like actual steps you can use without the experience. Yeah. And and thinking like an experienced producer is the starting point.
Yeah. Wow. And one of the things I wrote down creative problem solving. Is a lot of at the core of what I interpreted that you're helping, when you're helping them to think like a experienced producer. It's really experienced producer knows how to solve problems on
critical
the go,
thinking
on
skills.
You know what I mean? You do. It's like, because you talked about the light or the truck hitting this, and I thought about that and how solution oriented you'd have to be.
Correct.
To be like, okay, well, it's not like we can just go up to Home Depot and get this same truck or something. It's like, hey, what are we gonna do? All right, somebody stand there. All right, can we use this lift? And you just turn your obstacles into opportunities, and your environment into props and elements and useful tools in your creative work. And I so resonate. I call myself a producer. I believe that I'm producing brand stories. I believe we're producing our reality if we want to really get to it. 100%. I believe that what we're thinking, how we're treating each other is constantly producing our reality. So to me, this is at the core of how we should live as humans. And the problems that are before us is, what's this impact on existence? And what are we leaving our imprint on? So, but one more question for you. Okay. I don't know. I guess we had so much great conversation. I think what's here for me is we're saying the same stuff, man. But it feels more urgent to say it now more than ever. And it still feels like a lot of people are not getting it. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like if humanity starts to get it, we stop having to say it more. And for me, it's driving me bananas that we are literally teaching humans how to be human. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore, but it's what's required. Absolutely. So I'm I don't know. I think what I'm trying to get out is what's there for you? What's frustrating you? What are you like? What if you could just wave a magic wand and be like, world, wake up to this concept, wake up to this belief, wake up to this understanding? What would that be for you?
Critical thinking is huge, right? How do you get from point A to point B using the tools that are around you? I started in this business without a cell phone, right? Not to age myself, but it was hard. We had to have all the permits faxed over before we even left our office. So this generation has every single possible tool up to date, the most incredible magic wand in their hand. And so by using tools around you, you're unstoppable. And so it's just opening that door. And it is frustrating, right? Because you can only, do so many podcasts and put your voice out there. So I've also started on a very small scale with interns. And I have an incredible internship with a high school. And I have 3 students with me all year. And I am seeing their growth in real life. And so it's only 3 people. But those 3 people might influence 3 more people, and then 3 more people. And so you have exponential reach if you focus small. So I think you're doing it, right? But it's frustrating because you want to reach everyone now, but sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. And so many great mentors have told me that. And even though it's frustrating because I want to shake them and be like, you have everything in your hand. How can you not figure out this challenge on set? You have a smartphone in your hand.
Google it. Did you Google it?
All of the apps and all of the AI tools, I wish I would have had that when I first started.
I know, yeah.
And so that's it. It's the critical thinking. And I really want to keep stressing that, of having the mentality of anything's possible. Why not? I have, a solution-based mentality versus a problem-led. And by repeating that, having that on repeat for anyone around me, whether it's my children, my interns, my employees, is empowering them to know they have that power inside of them to put 2 and 2 together. And it's baby steps, one day at a time.
I know. And as simple as it is, it's incredibly profound at the same time. It is, because there's layers of thought. And I know she gave us a lot of that, y'all. So I'm going to stop it there. Oh, man. And one of the things when we have you back, the other thing I want to do, because I did this with, I'm blanking on his name, but there was a guy, he designed the staging for all of these big performances. So like Beyonce is the story I remember the most, but he's done a ton of them. And like when Beyonce wants to like zip line across and land on this thing, and he's the person that engineers, design, and make sure the stage is the right height and the people move. And so he's producing that whole thing, right? And like he has this much, margin for error.
Yeah.
So that stuff. And so one of the things I loved about when I had him on this was my Second Chance Athletes podcast a long time ago, was he broke down these scenarios where like stuff went wrong and he had to figure something out. Like, oh my God, what do you do when this, like, she's headed for a crash and she don't know it, but you got like 15 seconds to figure it out.
He already had a plan in place, probably,
or just like your brain. And so I think there's a lot of value because it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle.
Yes.
And so I think there's a lot of value of being like, yeah, I know every producer, and you can kind of train experienced producers, but there's probably like some problems that you solve that got some like Stacy sauce in it.
Totally. Because it's learned experiences that only I have experienced.
Yeah.
Because of whatever shoot I was on or whatever weird accident happened that was outside of my control.
Right. That's
part of my toolkit that I've been collecting. And that's called experience, right?
I know.
So when you have somebody that becomes a teacher, and I love, educating, and that's something that I really believe in, is educating the next generation. I mean, we need to train the next generation. And the leaders of now are leading the leaders of tomorrow. And so giving back and teaching those skills, I'm not going to be able to gift everyone with my experience, but I can at least give them the step-by-step process in which they can take their problem to their solution with that same kind of roadmap.
Yeah. Okay, so if I keep going, we're gonna keep going. That's like, I grew up in a lot of churches, and the pastors used to always say, "I'm beginning to close," and they were never ever closing.
And the sermon,
it just kept going and going and going. So I'm doing that right now, but I have a timer. So, Stacy, thank you. Okay, this was amazing. Man, you know how I like to do, y'all. I like to inspire. We like to educate, but I like to get practical and say, like, what's one thing for you? For me, it's hard to pick one. It's always hard to pick one. But man, I'm still intrigued by this concept of helping people to think like experienced producers. I just think like there's a lot there in terms of team members' abilities to critical think and solve problems, to even as a human. I just see so many people run into obstacles. It's like Marie Forleo was like the original and say everything's figure outable. Like, to me, that's the mindset of a producer. I love the process that you kind of broke down quick and many there for people who are looking to find their human superpower with the list and ABCD. So you have to make sure you go back if you're like somehow scrolling and found this in the middle or something. Make sure you watch that part and find your superpower in the world, because I personally believe that is how you see your greatness in the world. It's how, to me, greatness isn't about being the best. It's about being your best. And so seeding greatness isn't like, go be the number one in the world, although we want everybody to be number one. To be clear.
Totally.
But it's not about that. It's about being your best. It's about living your purpose. It's about doing the thing that only you can do on the planet. Seed your greatness into the world. And so we totally align on impacting generations beyond us, because the original quote to which this comes from is from an Athenian proverb that says, communities flourish when wise elders plant seeds beneath trees whose shade they'll never sit under. And so you are seeding greatness. And we appreciate you. So y'all make sure you go follow her. All her information is here on the screen. It's also in the show notes, y'all. Give it up one more time. Blow her up. Bring her on your stages. Train her. And anything that you said that you heard today that made you do it, we want commission. So just hashtag seeding greatness. Let her know. I'm just kidding. We love you. Thanks for having her.